Hey, howdy, Texas Gulf. And things get crazier here, so stay with me. Here it comes. In Iowa, there was a middle-aged woman. She claims that she was a male, so she took her top off and she sauntered around the local swimming pool, and all the kids and everybody were there and said, hey, who is that, mommy? Well, that's just a woman who thinks she isn't, right? And she went into the men's restroom and all the rest of it, and when asked, the manager of the local place there said, hey, you know what? There's a law here in Iowa that we can't do anything about it. She thinks, or says today at least, that she's labeling herself today at least as a male. So we're acting accordingly, and she's out here just doing what she does. And gender identity, we can't fool around with that. That's more important than biological sex. Oh, well then, more than 40%. Whole bunch of stuff. Keep up. This is all crazy stuff from Democrats, right? Because every city that I'm talking about with crazy stuff, it's led by Democrats, by left-wing wackos that try to change the world into their image, and their image ain't pretty, right? San Francisco, upwards to 40% of the residents there, when recently asked, say, hey, we're moving. This place is nuts. It's gone crazy. It's insane. Homeless people everywhere. You can't walk down the street without encountering some form of bad thing, right? You get mugged, or you step on a needle, or something happens. 40%. Wow. And that's a big number, and probably that will get bigger sooner than later, because people say we can't stay here anymore. Everybody's moving from California. Everybody. Hundreds of thousands of people are moving on a regular basis to Texas and other places. Then, of course, you run over to New York, where you have some other crazy people. You got this Democrat, what's her name? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or something like that. Now she says, if you ban marijuana from the Olympics, that's racist. Well, of course it is. You know that. You know what the good thing is here? The good news is that we can't understand her. Because if we understood her, we'd be just as crazy as she is. And the Democrats, you know what? Recently, they have all said, we're not happy with the Supreme Court because we don't like what they're saying. Their judgments, we don't agree. So now they're talking again about packing the court and different things. What a bunch of crybabies. You know what? It's like the bully out in the soccer field. I mean, I'm happy when I win and I'm mad when I'm not. And if I don't win, that means you cheated, right? And they try to change the rules so they can win. Well, hold it now. I keep losing. I want to have 20 players in my team and you can only have 2. That is how they work. There's a disconnect up here. There's some brain damage that happened. Maybe they all fell in their heads when they were born. We don't know, but we do know that it ain't fair. They're always working with being unfair. Bullies and bullies and bullies. And the U.S. taxpayers now may have to end up paying upwards to $15 billion, with a B, dollars to the Canadian company behind the Keystone Pipeline. The first day of office, Biden says, I'm canceling that. I don't think it's legal, and most senators agree with me. It's an illegal thing that he did. It was already passed. People are working upwards to 20,000 jobs have now just been erased, all because of Biden, right? This little green man. I mean, oil's still going from Alberta down to Texas, not as much of it, not as smoothly, and it's all going by rail, and apparently the rail cars are mostly owned by Warren Buffett. Who's a Democrat? Who supports Biden? Oh, do you smell anything funny here? I do, kind of, sort of, maybe, but you know what? Another thing going on here with regards to the court. Biden will say, hey, I don't like what the court is doing. The Supreme Court continues to kick back his left-wing stuff, and something will change here sooner than later, probably, and not to the good, because these people seem to be in charge. And he's building up this new, he being Biden, this new and expanded corporate welfare system. He's giving out hundreds of billions of dollars to rich people that run rich companies that don't need the money. It's like Canada. I remember a couple of years ago when the prime mistake there, he gave Loblaws, they make all kinds of money. A big company. I forget all the numbers. He gave them like 10 or 12 million dollars to go out and buy fridges. That's what they do. Why do you do that? Because you have to have friends in high places. You might want to be on their board when you're no longer a politician. And there's a long list of corrupt kind of thinking things that go on with the left mind. You know, then in Canada, we've had many people write us and say, hey, Brian, that'd be me. Why don't you talk about the buildup of Chinese troops in Canada? Well, That's the rumor. Many say it's not a rumor. There's conspiracy theories. There's all kinds of things. And there's been some admissions as well that the Chinese troops have actually been on Canadian soil. Is it true? Isn't it true? I mean, we don't know. We really don't. I mean, you go onto the internet and there's so many headlines. 250,000 Chinese troops at the Mexican border and they're going into Canada. No longer a rumor. Chinese troops have amassed on the Canadian border and they're coming in. And why are the Chinese military and businesses now in Canada? And no, Canada is not amassing troops in Canada to invade the US. And on it goes, right? What's right? I'm right. What's right with regards to this, and what's made up as you go along. How much is fear? How much is conspiracy? I don't know that. What we need, this is where you need a strong opposition. You need somebody with some credibility. We don't have that with the Conservative Party so much, but you need someone with credibility to go and say, hey, there's these rumors. You almost need a rumor department on the other side, a rumor commission to say, I hear this rumor about Chinese troops. We're going to go see. They say that they even name some cities and towns and areas in Canada where these troops are. Supposedly, someone needs to go and either get this rumor stopped or make it a fact. Facts are good, all right? and who could do that? It would have to be the party, the Conservative Party of Canada, but they don't seem to get it. I mean, I'm solution driven. When somebody says a rumor, something that sounds like a rumor, I confirm it right away. I mean, just recently somebody told me a bad thing about another person. I three-wayed him and I said, this is Frank and he says this about you, Joe. And I got it straightened out because Frank was lying. He told an untruth, right? Whether he was lying or made it up as he went, who knows and who cares? But you know what? You can fix all of these rumors. Somebody with credibility's got to go look and report it as fact with cameras and pictures. That hasn't been done. Some of you will say, hey, it's been done. Maybe, but not to the extent of with the credibility behind it that it needs to be done. Are the Chinese troops in Canada? Hey, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the prime mistake. He thinks that the Chinese government is a good thing, right? I mean, this guy is a commie and a commie and a commie, but I repeat myself, but are you getting it? So you know what? Maybe somebody get a man on that. I'm going to contact some senators that I know as well in Canada and see if we can get somebody to go out and do a credibility intel. Hey, don't you know, in the meantime, think of the traffic sign. When you drive down the road, it says, stay right. See ya.